hurt you, baby.
You are!
Parenting is hard, real hard. And while being the child of celebrities comes with all kinds of perks, like private jets, hobnobbing with elites, designer brands, you name it, it also comes with its own set of strict rules. Right now, we're going to go through just a few of those rules that celeb kids have to follow.
There are certain things you're not allowed to do till you're older. You can't drive my car, you can't try alcohol, it's just the way it is.
Number 1. Kim K's trendy dress code. It may come as no surprise, but Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's kids are expected to always be fashionable. That means no walking out of the house in pajamas or in mismatched socks. As two very visible public figures and as style icons themselves, both Kim and Kanye want to make sure that their kids match them in fashion. That means only dressing in the latest styles and carefully coordinating outfits, sometimes with each other even, in order to be photo-ready at all times. So much for kid-like self-expression, these little ones have to work the paparazzi like adults. Number 2. No sleepovers for culture. Sleepovers. Fun with friends until late at night, prank phone calls, pizza. But Culture, Cardi B's daughter, will be experiencing none of that. Why? Because Cardi has a strict no sleepover ever policy. Cardi's own mother instituted the same rule when Cardi was a kid, but Cardi was a rebel and often broke her mother's rules. Now, as an adult, Cardi sees the sense in her mother's judgment. After having lived a rough life and gotten into trouble more than once, the rapper applies the same rule to her own daughter in order to ensure a happy and safe childhood. Overprotective or caring mother, it's clear that Cardi just wants what's best for Culture. Number 3. Megan Fox's no internet or TV rule. Wouldn't it be nice if kids were less addicted to the internet and TV? Megan Fox sure thinks so, and as a result, her kids are prohibited from both. I mean, sure, some celeb parents limit screen time, but in Megan's house, it is a big, fat, across-the-board no. For one, the kids are not allowed to use computers until 8th grade. So, no World Wide Web until then. And because Megan finds TV to be so nonstop, it is altogether prohibited in her household. She does, however, allow her kids to watch movies as they have a start and end. So, no binge fest for these tykes. Number 4. Beyoncé's motorcade for kids. While most of us walked, biked, or got to school in our parents' sedan, Beyoncé's kids get a full-on motorcade with security. That's right, the Carter children are not let out of the house without a full-on entourage. Perhaps Beyoncé just wants her kids treated like the music royalty they are. Or maybe she just wants them to be safe. Whatever the reason, no leaving the house until the motorcade shows up. Is that clear? Number 5. Gigi's multicultural combos. And on the softer side of things is Gigi Hadid and Zayn Malik's approach to parenting, multicultural style. As both the model and singer are first-gen kids themselves, they feel a responsibility to be the bridge of multiculturalism for their daughter Kai, and engage in conversations about their mixed identities with her, so that she can grow up proud and with her own sense of self. As Gigi tells People, I think that Kai will grow up feeling out the way that she can or wants to be a bridge for her different ethnicities. But I think that it will be nice to be able to have those conversations and see where she comes from with it, without us putting that onto her. I think we can give these two an A for mature parenting. Number 6. No microwaves at Kourtney's place. Microwaves are great for those of us on the go and in need of a quick meal. But for Kourtney Kardashian, they are a thing to be avoided at all costs. So when any of her kids need a quick snack or need to heat a meal, they have to wait for their food to warm on the stovetop. Why, you might ask? Well, Kourtney believes that the toxins from plastic containers seep into food when microwaved, and she will have none of that around her kids. Kourtney is known to eat clean, as they say, and to be very health conscious, especially when it comes to her kids. So it really should come as no surprise that microwaves are out. Number 7. J-Lo's homework before technology rule. Getting kids to do their homework can be a Herculean task for some parents. But for JLo, the rule of no technology until all papers are written and equations are solved seems to work. Kids Emmy, Maribel, David, and Maximilian are not allowed onto any kind of technology until their homework is done. This sounds like an especially good rule if you want kids with good grades. Number 8. Masked visitors only at Kylie's house. Kylie Jenner may be a young mom, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have all the traits of an overprotective mama bear. While Stormi and her little brother, official name is still to be announced, live and play in the lap of luxury and have many freedoms themselves, those who come to see them do not. Visitors outside the family and staff are expected to wear medical masks when around the children, in order to protect the kiddos from germs and infections. Kylie, ever the trendsetter, was enforcing masks long before COVID and will be long after as well. Number 9. Kourtney's silk pillowcases. And while we're on a Jen Dashian streak, we might as well include another one of Kourtney's more, unconventional rules: silk pillowcases for all the kids. That's right, these tykes are not laying their heads down on high thread count Egyptian cotton. Rather, they're going to bed on luxurious silk. Studies have shown that silk pillowcases reduce the appearance of wrinkles over time. Kourtney's getting ahead and ensuring that her little one's skin stays youthful, healthy, and taut for the long haul. Hey, maybe we should all give silk pillowcases a go. Number 10. No tablets for the royal kids. Sometimes a tablet does well to quiet a fussy kid, but the royal children will have to make do without. Kate Middleton and Prince William do not allow their children George, Charlotte, and Louis access to the likes of any smart gadgets, such as iPads and iPhones. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry took after the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's example and instituted the same rule for little Archie. Who says being a royal doesn't come with its downsides? Number 11. Kristen Bell's bedtime lock-in. Some kids are fussy sleepers, not wanting to go to bed and all. Others sneak out to the living room to catch late-night TV while mom and dad snooze. But not in Kristen Bell's household. Belle locks her daughter Delta into her room once it's lights out. We certainly think that this one is on the more extreme side of the rule spectrum. Don't you? Number 12. No high-carb food for Gwyneth Paltrow's kids. Mother of Goop and all-around machine, Gwyneth Paltrow has a lot of strict rules for herself and her kids. Paltrow often gives insights about her family life on her Goop blog. And while known for having a strict diet herself, she enforces the same rules upon her kids. Apple and Moses are not allowed a high-carb food diet. That's right, no cinnamon rolls or cakes for these two. Additionally, the kids are not allowed any gluten. So, no bread either. Looks like Paltrow takes her kids' health seriously, to say the least. Number 13. Jessica Alba's punishment practice. When kids misbehave, some go to their room. Some get no dessert, others lose internet privileges. In Jessica Alba's household, however, when you do something bad, you stand facing the wall until you're released. Alba and husband Cash Warren use this archaic rule in their house to bring down the hammer when necessary. Guess their 3 kids, Honor, Hayes, and Haven, can describe in perfect detail the color of the Alba Warren household's walls. Number 14. Julia Roberts' no junk food rule. What parent doesn't want their kid to eat healthy? Julia Roberts takes it a little further for her 3 kids, Hazel, Phineas, and Henry. Roberts bans sweets and junk food altogether, as the proud mom is just watching out for her kids' health in the long run. However, the actress isn't so rigid as to not permit the occasional sweet or snack. The rule is suspended on special occasions. Well done, Julia. Well done. Number 15. Kate Winslet's strict bedtime for kids. Ever tried to get a toddler to bed? Or even a kid, for that matter? There are fewer arduous tasks than getting a kid to go to sleep at a sensible hour. But while her kids are small, Kate Winslet manages to get the job done by enforcing a very strict and early bedtime. 7:30 p.m. to be exact. She also doesn't allow any jumping on the beds, as she views the game to be dangerous. Guest bedtime and beds in the Winslet household are no laughing matter.
You don't get a childhood back. This is it. That's it for children. It's right now.
Like we said, parenting is hard. And when fame is in the mix, parenting gets a whole lot more complicated. And sometimes laying down the law is necessary to keep celeb kids safe and in check.
Kids will be kids, but the mini royals have a lot more rules to follow than most elementary-aged kiddos. The children of British royal princes and princesses have to stay in line, and not just for the throne. Kate and William's kids don't have it as great as you may think. Number 1, no crying or giving attitude. Every kid acts up now and then, but Kate and William have some special techniques for ensuring their 3 kids stay well behaved while in public. After all, they usually have millions of eyes on them. And crying or giving attitude doesn't look good for the crown. To keep their kids in line, the Duke and Duchess practice the chat sofa discipline method, which is like a timeout, letting the kids calm down and talk out their feelings. Number 2, pay attention at royal events. You probably remember getting dragged along to grown-up events as a child, but these kids have to attend regular royal public events with their parents and behave. On top of keeping up their exemplary manners, the kids have to stay still and poised during long events, like the recent Platinum Jubilee. It's tough for the younger ones, especially Louis, who is still just 4 years old. Luckily, the Duchess is always nearby to whisper some words of encouragement to her kids when they'd rather be playing. Number 3, gendered fashion. It's a royal tradition for the kids to start wearing proper clothing from a young age. Charlotte, and all the young female royals, traditionally wear dresses as toddlers and skirts as they get older. Boys like Louis and George are expected to wear shorts when they're younger and pants when they reach an older age. In addition to wearing the correct styles, the kids also can't wear black when attending official events. That's because the royals consider black clothing exclusive to mourning. Number 4, travel rules. Unlike the Queen, who does not need a passport to travel within the Commonwealth countries, the rest of the family does need one. Even though most babies aren't usually jet-setting around the world before they can walk, these 3 royal siblings were all issued international passports as soon as they were born, just in case. And although the royal protocol disallows royal heirs, like Prince William and his sons, from traveling on the same plane together, these parents have decided to dismiss that rule so the whole family can travel as a group. Number 5, stand when Granny stands. Some royal protocol extends to everyone in the family, including the kids. Kate and William's little ones know that when Granny stands, so does everyone else in the room. Women are also expected to curtsy in the Queen's presence, and Charlotte is no exception. The 6-year-old is already learning formal rules for greetings, including the royal wave, but we'll get to that later. Number 6, no fast food. The royal family has an army of private chefs at their beck and call, so who would want fast food, right? It's now a known fact that Princess Diana used to sneak her kids off to McDonald's for a treat. When the chef would offer to recreate the McHappy Meals at home, Diana declined, saying it was the toys the boys really wanted. So we love to think that maybe Prince William has kept up this fun tradition with his kids. Number 7, listen to mom and dad. Besides the help of nannies and security, Kate and William are outnumbered by their 3 kids. But these parents have some great methods for ensuring Charlotte, George, and Louis always listen to mom and dad. The pair instill a calming atmosphere for the kids, and when disciplining them, Kate and William firmly outline the consequences of bad behavior. But they never yell or raise their voices. Apparently, for royal tots, a firm tone is more than enough to set the line straight. Number 8, private school. Even though in the old days the royal kids would be homeschooled or taught by a governess, these days the little ones are off to school. The new tradition started with Princess Diana's kids, Harry and William, and has continued with Charlotte, George, and Louis. The princes and princess all attend private school near their family's home in London. Although the kids get some socializing time at school, they aren't allowed to hang out after the bell or have spontaneous weekend playdates like the other kids. When George or Charlotte want to invite their classmates over, they have to put in a request at Kensington Palace and follow extra security measures. Number 9, extra lessons. In addition to attending a top-notch private school, George and his younger siblings have to take even more lessons in the evenings and weekends. As future royal leaders, they're learning all kinds of extra lessons to help with their roles, from art history to geography, and even other languages. It's a tradition for many royals to learn second languages, and the Duchess started teaching the kids Spanish from a very young age. Number 10. Rules of being born. There are some rules the royal kids have to follow even before they're born, or soon after, anyway. When Kate and William's kids were born, they had to be announced publicly to follow the royal protocol. A sign with the baby's assigned gender is placed outside the royal palace. After that, the kids all had to be baptized with water from the Jordan River. The Queen is the head of the church, and wear a special outfit called the Honiton christening gown. It was first worn by Queen Victoria's child and has been passed down through royal generations. Number 11. Driver's licenses are a must. Charlotte and her brothers Louis and George are still a bit young to be thinking about their first car. But in line with the Queen's expectations of her descendants, these three will definitely be getting their driver's licenses when they're older. The Queen is a big fan of cars and learned to drive from a young age during the war, so it makes sense that the family are all drivers. Number 12. Etiquette training. As soon as royal kids are old enough to sit at a table, they start their mandatory etiquette training. A former royal etiquette teacher told People magazine that Charlotte, Louis, and George are raised having formal meals as practice. They also attend formal events and are taught everything from proper voice levels to conversation skills and how to properly greet people of various classes. Posture is another important part of etiquette training. Girls are taught the Duchess slant, which means sitting conservatively at formal events. It's also considered bad for boys or men to stand with their hands in their pockets. Number 13. Royal tours. All working members of the royal family are expected to go on tours and visits to the other Commonwealth countries. And of course, the kids have to tag along. There's no age requirement, and these little ones always have to be ready for a trip abroad. Even Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's son Archie went on a tour of South Africa when he was just 4 months old. The kids could also be expected to join the army when they're older. Prince Charles, Prince William, and Prince Harry all worked for branches of the military for a while in their 20s. Number 14. Mastering the royal wave. Charlotte already has it down. The royal wave, that is. Members of the family attend tons of public events, and constantly waving can hurt your wrist. That's why the Queen came up with a formal wave that lets her greet her subjects without straining her muscles too much. It's now known as the Windsor wave. As for direct greetings, girls like Charlotte are taught how to properly curtsy, while the boys learn bowing and who to shake hands with and when. Although it's generally frowned upon for royals to shake hands with the public. Number 15. No shellfish. It's not only because the Queen isn't a fan of food from the sea. The royal family, including the kids, tend to avoid shellfish at dinner. That means no lobster or clams on the Windsor table. Why? Shellfish has a higher likelihood of causing food poisoning, and this busy group can't afford to get sick and miss their many scheduled events and appearances. Number 16. No political views. The Crown has one big rule for everyone in the royal family: stay neutral on political views. That may be easy for the kids now, but as they get older, like anyone, they're likely to take on their own political opinions. The only catch is that they're never allowed to share them. They must remain impartial as long as they're a part of the royal system. Number 17. Wedding parties. The kids are always expected to be ready for a royal wedding. When anyone from the extended family gets married, it's up to the princes and princesses to join the wedding party as flower girls and ring bearers. How did Kate and William teach their kids to walk primly down the aisle? Plenty of rehearsal. It works since Princess Charlotte stole the show at Meghan and Harry's nuptials. Number 18. Nanny knows best. Kate and William work nearly full-time as part of their royal duties, so the couple also has full-time nannies to help with the kids. Charlotte, Louis, and George have to listen to the nanny. The family's current nanny, Maria Teresa Turrion-Borreo, who wears a specific uniform at work, has been employed with them since 2014 and helps with school drop-offs, lessons, and playtime. Number 19. Royal protocols and security. The three kids always have a security detail with them when they're out and about. It's part of the royal protocol for members of the family to be accompanied by bodyguards and security everywhere they go. The kids also have to learn about the safety protocols in the event of a crisis of the passing of a senior royal. For example, when Granny goes, they'll enact Operation London Bridge. Number 20. Christmas rules. Like a lot of families, the royals have a separate table for the kids at Christmas. It's a tradition for the kids to eat at the kids' table. Christmas has a lot of unique traditions for the royal family, including opening their presents on Christmas Eve rather than Christmas Day. If the kids happen to get presents from the public or important figures, they must accept them graciously, but they may not be allowed to keep the presents. Of course, they probably have more than enough toys at home. These royal kids may be barely old enough to speak in full sentences, but they're already expected to perform the full song and dance of royal life. With so many rules and restrictions, do you think any of the royal kids will follow Prince Harry's footsteps and step away from royalty altogether?
Celebrities are stricter with their babies than you might think. While some celebs let their kids wander around barefoot without nannies, Kylie Jenner is not one of them. Since her super secret pregnancy, it's obvious that Kylie has put her and her baby's health first. Since Stormi was born last year, the young billionaire mom has enforced a number of strict rules. These rules are made to be followed by everyone who comes into contact with Stormi, whether they're a guest or a nanny. Let's dive right into the 15 strict rules Kylie expects everyone to respect when they're around her daughter. Absolutely no germs. Health is definitely a priority for Kylie, and it's resulted in her being a total germaphobe. According to a source who spoke with Us Weekly, Kylie is devoted to keeping her little girl safe and happy in her private space. That means absolutely no cooties allowed. Many insiders reported that guests have to scrub their hands when around Stormi. This practice started when Stormi was just a newborn, but we don't think it's going away anytime soon. When Kylie's little girl was just a few weeks old, she even provided medical masks for guests who wanted to see the baby. It makes sense since a newborn baby is very vulnerable to viruses and bacteria. Now that Stormi is a year old, visitors don't have to wear masks around her. But we're sure Kylie is still strict with cleanliness, even with her high-profile celebrity guests. No phones. Kylie is the queen of social media, but she has one strict rule when it comes to phones around Stormi. They're not allowed, period. This rule started when Kylie was secretly pregnant with Stormi, and she actually caught a member of the staff trying to sneak photos of her growing belly. Since then, guests aren't allowed to have their phones around Stormi. It's all part of making sure Stormi and Kylie have their privacy. Momager to the entire Kardashian clan, Kris Jenner, also stressed how bad it is for outsiders to be sneaky with their phones. She said to have somebody in her own home trying to snap pictures they shouldn't be snapping is really, really stressful. When visiting Kylie's home, you'll have to give your phone up to security as protocol. Super tight guest list. To protect her and Stormi from unwanted or untrustworthy visitors that can risk their safety and security, Kylie's enforced this strict rule. She has a super tight pre-approved list of guests who are allowed in her home, especially when Stormi's around. Judging from the looks of who's been to see Stormi recently, it's only close friends and family on the list. When Stormi was born, the first people to get a pic with her were Kendall Jenner, former BFF Jordan Woods, and Kylie's great-grandmother MJ. The list is super selective. In fact, we're not even sure if baby daddy Travis Scott's friends and family members are on it. No unapproved photography or videos. Aside from no phones and a super tight guest list, Kylie's also very strict with unauthorized photography and videos of Stormi. Notice how no one besides Kylie and her family post anything of Stormi? That's because Kylie is super strict with what the world can see regarding her daughter. Kylie is very much aware of all the bullying that takes place on social media platforms. Negative comments can get pretty abusive and out of hand. Kylie wants to minimize that as much as possible, so she checks every photo or video of Stormi. Media outlets and magazines are willing to give out big sums to anyone who has insider information or pictures of Stormi. Pat-downs and security checks. Getting into Kylie's home to see Stormi is a task tougher than getting out of a maximum security prison. Guests are required to subject themselves to pat-downs and checks by Kylie's security. According to OK Magazine, guests are put through a metal detector and patted down by security. Security's gotten so tight that there was even a time when Kylie's guard didn't let her into her own house. Kylie recounts the story on Snapchat where, when she pulled up to the gates of her home and said, "Hey, it's Kylie Jenner," the guard didn't open up the gate just yet. He asked, "Are you with Kylie Jenner?" forcing Kylie to reply, "Oh no, it's the Kylie Jenner." Kylie wasn't too fazed by it and even joked that it must be her ever-changing wigs that confused her security guards. Only healthy food in the house. Kylie is known among her Kardashian sisters for being able to eat anything. She shared with her fans that she indulges in pizza, burgers, and fries more often than her health-conscious sisters do. But since she had Stormi, Kylie is now more conscious about what she eats. Part of it was to lose the baby weight, which she did in no time. The young makeup mogul has her flat stomach and small waist again. Kylie's been experimenting with vegan food and has confirmed that she cut out dairy, pasta, and pizza. Back when Jordan was her BFF and roommate, Kylie would also share the healthy meals they'd eat together on Instagram. Nannies must love dogs. It's no secret that even before Kylie was obsessed with her little girl, she was a certified dog lover. Kylie has 7 dogs that used to be the stars of her Instagram stories. Now that she's had Stormi, they're making fewer appearances on the young mom's social media. But that doesn't mean they're not still a huge part of her life. In fact, when it comes to choosing nannies to help care for Stormi, part of their job description is to also make sure the dogs are okay. Besides, these dogs have their own air-conditioned luxury doghouse. If Kylie sends you to the doghouse for any mistakes, at least you'll have a comfortable night's sleep. No jewelry. This next rule is also for the nannies who are working for the strict Kylie household. Aside from making sure armed robbers don't get anywhere near the children, Kylie and her sisters are trying not to tempt thieves. So nannies aren't allowed to wear jewelry, especially when around the children. It seems kind of pointless seeing as everyone knows how rich the Kardashians are, but robbers aren't sure of the nannies, so it's better if they keep a low profile and leave their diamonds at home. It doesn't make you better at changing Stormi's diapers anyway. Only expensive or designer gifts. Stormi celebrated her first birthday in February of 2019, and it was as lavish as you'd imagine any Kardashian-Jenner party would be. Kylie threw a massive party with a theme park/Astroworld vibe in mind. There was a giant inflatable replica of Stormi welcoming guests to the venue, different themed rooms, and an actual gift shop. The party also featured fairground games, a carousel, and a live performance of Baby Shark. It's a given that guests to such an extravagant party have to give gifts that are just as extra. Stormi's star-studded party led to her receiving gifts like a Chanel handbag from DJ Khaled, Louboutins, and something from Gucci. It's hard to imagine what a 1-year-old would need a designer handbag for, but that's life for Stormi. Limit the public and outdoors. Since Stormi's birth, Kylie's been very strict about her baby going out in public. Even leaving their home is strictly monitored and limited. Kylie wants to keep the paparazzi away from her baby as much as possible. The paparazzi are determined to get shots of the little girl, even going as far as flying helicopters over her property. So if you're hoping to catch a glimpse of the star and her daughter, you won't bump into them strolling around LA. Unless you live in Calabasas, then you might see Kylie pushing Stormi around in her designer stroller. Positive vibes only. When you come from a family so steeped in drama and controversy, it may be hard to imagine making positive vibes a priority. But that's what Kylie wants for everyone who's around her little girl. Kylie is very knowledgeable about how negative the online world can be. That's part of why she hid the fact she was pregnant from everyone. She didn't want hateful or negative comments to get in the way and disrupt her pregnancy. Now that Stormi's born, she doesn't want all the negative energy to affect her baby. Anyone who's around Stormi has to let go of all the bad vibes and just think happy thoughts. Maybe Kylie holds yoga classes for all the visitors who come to visit Stormi. Limit screen time. In an interview with Rolling Stone, Travis Scott expressed his disappointment with how kids are always on their iPads instead of playing outside. He said, "That's why, with Stormi, no TV. It's a good rule to have in any household, especially for children under 2 years old. Stormi may be exposed to phone screens, especially when she joins her mom for a Snapchat selfie, but that may be the extent of it. She should probably stay away from watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians for now anyway." Visitors sign an NDA. Getting anything leaked out to the press by accident is a Kardashian's greatest fear. The Kardashians and Jenners are masters when it comes to their image, and every move is calculated by momager Kris Jenner. Before guests can enter any Kardashian house, they're made to sign an NDA. According to sources, this NDA can cost people about $10 million if broken. Kylie is especially strict with this rule as it prevents visitors from selling stories about her to the media. If you refuse to sign, you can't see Stormi. Of course, some exceptions to the rule exist. Family members and close friends aren't made to sign, like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Kyle Richards. She just said she doesn't talk about those things, referring to Kylie's secret pregnancy because, as their friend, it's a given. No group pics. The Kardashian Christmas card is an annual tradition for the family that many fans look forward to. It's always fun to see how the family dresses up for the yearly themed photo and how much they've grown over the years. Now that Kris has 9 grandchildren and another one on the way, everyone was expecting to see a massive Kardashian Christmas group photo last year. But Kylie and Stormi were missing from the photo, rendering it incomplete. Kylie was present for the shoot, but she didn't want to join in on the pic with her daughter. It looks like she's still very protective of her child and won't even risk a group photo. Kylie's the boss. At the end of the day, the strictest rule for those around Stormi is that Kylie's the boss. Not even Travis will get much of his way if Kylie's around. She wants to make it clear that she's taking her role as a mother very seriously and puts her daughter's needs first. The fact that she takes Stormi with her on lavish vacation trips or fills her wardrobe with designer baby clothes doesn't change anything. Kylie's the boss in her household, and that's just how she rolls.
What is the most extreme of the celeb kid rules we listed? Tell us in the comments below, and be sure to like and hit subscribe for more news from the Things Celebrity.